is August 28th, and this is the herb container garden, and I thought it would be nice to just walk through here real quick, show you guys how the herbs are growing here in late August after a long hot summer. It's supposed to heat up a little bit this weekend, but the temperatures have actually been cooling down a little bit for us this past week, and we've received a lot of rain, which my plants just love, and I love it too because it is so hard to get out here and water all these plants. So over here is where I had a sweet pea currant tomato plant. It was really big, and then I just cut it almost all the way down, and as you can see, it's been growing back. I cut that down in July, or right at the end of July, and it looks like I have some blossoms coming out, so I'll probably get a few more tomatoes before the middle of October, which is my first frost date. And then right here is a cinnamon basil plant, which I cut all the way down, and it's growing back real nice. Over here, the rosemary looks great. I've been using a lot of rosemary this year, and I also took some cuttings so that I can enjoy some more plants next year. So I'll show you those in just a minute. This was my first basil that I planted over the summer, and I cut it back once. It was starting to bolt on me, so it grew back, but the leaves were very tough and leathery, and now you can see it's bolting again. But I've not really been using this basil. And then a kaffir lime tree that I grew from seed. It's just really taken off this whole summer. It was so tiny at the beginning of the year. And then lavender. I've cut and dried some of the blossoms of my lavender plant over the summer, and it's starting to bloom again. So this is my other basil plant, and I've actually been using this a lot, but because the temperatures really cooled down this week, I mean, it was probably, in the afternoon around 68 degrees. I was picking my son up from school, and so I looked at the temperature and it was like 68 degrees. I was like, oh my goodness. But anyway, with the cool weather and all of the rain, basil just hates that. So you can see it's starting to yellow. I'm getting brown spots all over my leaves. So I'm going to start some more so that I can grow it indoors all winter long. I'll just use my little indoor garden to grow basil over the winter. And then here we have the garlic chives with a lot of blossoms right there on top. It'll be going to seed soon, and it's attracting a lot of pollinators. They're just little black seeds. And so I can just toss those out and have a lot more plants. I don't have to start those indoors or anything. It seems to sow very easily, just putting it in the soil outdoors without starting it inside. There's a tarragon plant down in there and some oregano that I have not watered all summer because I was intending on dumping that pot out. Just never got around to it. I don't like that oregano at all. I actually just planted that oregano for a demonstration, and it was from seed, and then by the time it grew, I just hated it. And then chives, and then my GreenStalk system, which I've kind of neglected a little bit this summer. I had the two downstairs that I've just been growing all kind of things in. But the one thing I have been doing over here is letting this fennel go to seed, and I've been drying the pollen. And it makes a great flavor for things like fish or anything you just want a little pop of fennel flavor on, top of some soup, anything like that. So that's what I've been doing over here, and I'm letting some of them go to seed, as you can see right there, and I'll dry that for my Italian dishes. I love fennel seed and tomato sauce and anything that's Italian. My basil here is experiencing the same problem that my other ones have experienced, but you know, I have things like parsley in here that are doing well, and I certainly have some beautiful cucumbers growing right now out of the GreenStalk. So they're doing just really well. This is the little long slicing cucumbers, and I've already picked 3. So you can see, the one thing I was looking at this plant and I was thinking, why am I not seeing more cucumbers over here? And I just looked just a minute ago. I planted them at the same time. I thought I would have some over here, and then I looked on the side of my railing and that's why, if you can see that one, that's why I don't have any more growing. So make sure to keep your cucumbers picked and look really good for them. So I'm going to take that inside and enjoy that today. One problem I had with my cucumber plant were moths that lay their little eggs on my cucumber fruit, and that particular moth has a worm that is called a pickle worm, and they'll burrow down into your cucumber and it is awful. So I had 2 that I could not eat. So that was 2 of the 3 that I said that I picked. They were beautiful cucumbers. I was so anticipating enjoying them in a salad, and then I walked out here and they had this little gel coming out of them, and that means there's a pickle worm has burrowed down inside it. And that's the excrement that's on the outside, and it looks like a little white gel. So if you ever see that problem, that's what the problem is. It's a little worm inside your cucumber. Okay, so over here I cut back the apple mint. I have a few onions growing here along with 1 huge scallion. And then more chives, some parsley. This is some arugula that I cut all the way back, and I have been enjoying that in my salad. This is some tarragon, but some wild grass got in there with it, so I've got to clean out that pot because I certainly don't want to clip grass when I come out to get tarragon. But you can see that the tarragon is starting to come back. The wide leaf there is the tarragon. And so I always cut that back, and then it'll be really, really pretty here in October. Back here are my cuttings. And so some of the things that I've taken cuttings of include lavender, sage, tarragon, and rosemary. And I'll try to show y'all in another video how you can root those. Now, rosemary is very easy to root, as well as mint. You can just put that in your window and it'll grow roots, and you can transplant that into some soil. So if you have a rosemary plant right now and you live somewhere it's cold, you might lose your rosemary depending on the variety that you're growing. And so I like to take a cutting, so I'll have it next spring. And then the chives over there are just some that I divided. So I divide my chives. And let's see what else I can show you guys real quick. This little spearmint here I've just really been using that a lot too. And then of course thyme, I've been using that in some soups. Have some sage. This is another tarragon plant coming back just really nice. I need to clean this plant out. Looks like some seed, grass seed has found its way in there, and then it's just some old dill, so I've got to clean that out. Another oregano plant that I don't like. And then just some scallions. So there you go. I want to show you one more thing too. Okay, over here, can you guess what that is? That's called a chicken tractor. And so we have some little baby chicks. And so we will be having fun with our chickens. We had chickens when we lived in Florida many, many years ago. And I just haven't had an opportunity to have chickens again. So it will be a lot of fun. I'll show you my journey with chickens. So there you go. I hope all of you out there are having a great summer, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to help you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.